Welcome to the Explainer. So, you want to build muscle, right? The problem is, the amount of advice out there can feel pretty overwhelming. Today, we're cutting through all that noise and building one simple, powerful blueprint, starting right from the ground up. I mean, if you're just getting started, it's easy to get paralyzed by all the information. There are thousands of exercises, countless routines. So let's just ignore all that for a second and focus on the one single principle that actually forces your muscles to grow. Here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the golden rule of growth. Then we'll check out your muscle building toolkit. We'll even settle a classic gym debate, talk about the numbers game, and then finally, put it all together in your final blueprint. First things first, we've got to start with the absolute foundation. Seriously, if you forget everything else from this explainer, remember this one thing. It is the single most important concept in all of strength training. There's this awesome ancient Greek legend that explains this whole thing perfectly. It's about a young athlete named Milo who started carrying a newborn calf on his shoulders. He did it every single day. And as that calf got heavier and heavier, Milo's muscles had no choice but to adapt and get stronger. Until one day, he was carrying a full-grown bull. And what Milo did has a fancy scientific name, progressive overload. It's really just the core idea that for your muscles to grow, you have to challenge them with a little bit more than what they're used to. The goal is super simple. Always try to do just a little more than you did last time. So how do you actually do this? Well, it's pretty straightforward. You can try to get one more repetition than you did in your last workout. Or maybe you add a tiny bit of weight to the bar. You could even add a whole extra set to your exercise. Honestly, the method doesn't matter as much as the principle itself. Just aim to do more. Okay, so now that we have the foundation, progressive overload, it's time to pick the right tools for the job. And when it comes to building muscle, your most effective power tools are what we call compound movements. These are your big multitasking exercises. You see, instead of just isolating one little muscle, like in a bicep curl, compound movements work entire systems of muscles all at once. This lets you lift much heavier weight, which creates a bigger signal for growth and just makes your time in the gym way more efficient. We're talking maximum bang for your buck. And here they are, the heavy hitters. These 6 exercises are the backbone of so many great programs for a reason. Think about it. They train pretty much every major muscle in your body, from your legs and glutes with squats, to your entire back with pull-ups and rows, all the way to your chest and shoulders with the presses. Now, to really see how your choice of tool matters, let's get into a classic gym debate you hear all the time, barbells versus dumbbells. And we'll use the bench press as our main example. The barbell, well, it's the undisputed king of heavy lifting. Because the weight is fixed on that single bar, it's super stable, and your arms work together. That stability lets you focus on just one thing, pushing the absolute most weight you can. That makes it perfect for progressive overload and building raw strength. Dumbbells, though, they're a whole different ballgame. Now, each arm has to stabilize its own weight. This fires up a ton of smaller stabilizer muscles, lets you get a deeper stretch and a greater range of motion, and this is huge. It forces each side of your body to pull its own weight, which is fantastic for fixing any strength imbalances you might have. So what's the verdict? Which one is better? Well, that's the wrong question. They're just different tools for different jobs. You use the barbell to maximize your load and build that pure strength. You use dumbbells to improve your balance, fix weak spots, and work the muscle through a bigger range. Honestly, for the best results, using both is probably the smartest way to go. So, you've got your principle, progressive overload. You've got your tools, compound movements. Now you just need a plan. And that plan, it all comes down to the numbers, your sets and your repetitions, or reps. This chart pretty much breaks it down. If you want pure strength, you're going to lift really heavy for just a few reps, like 1 to 5. If you're training for endurance, you'll go lighter for 12 or more reps. But for our goal, building muscle size, which is called hypertrophy, that sweet spot is right there in the middle, in that classic 6 to 12 rep range. All right, it is time to put all the pieces together into your final blueprint. We've gone over the core principle, the tools, and the plan. So let's lock in those key takeaways right now. So here it is, your simple checklist for growth. Number 1, obey the golden rule. Always, always try to do more than last time. Number 2, use the right tools. Prioritize those big compound exercises. 3, stick to the plan. Work mostly in that 6 to 12 rep range for size. And finally, the secret ingredient. And this is the most important one. Be consistent. None of this works if you don't show up. So, there you have it. We've given you the foundation, the tools, and the plan. We've boiled all the science down into a clear blueprint that cuts right through the confusion. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it?